Hello, thank you for visiting Astrology TV. In this video, I'm going to continue my series explaining the planets through the signs. Today, we're going to talk about Mercury as it goes through the modes. So the first thing we're going to look at is Mercury through the cardinal signs. And if you get to know the cardinal signs, they are self-oriented. So yes, you can bet that Mercury likes to talk about their self when they're in the cardinal signs. In Aries, maybe more about themselves. When Mercury's in Cancer, maybe more about family. In Libra, maybe more about their partners and relationships. And in Capricorn, they like to talk about their work. In fixed signs, you're going to find Mercury, well, more the stubborn type of communicator for sure. When Mercury's in Taurus, well, they can be stubborn, that's for sure. When Mercury is in Leo, perhaps a little bit more demanding. And when Mercury is in Scorpio, just don't cross them in general is what I would suggest. And Mercury in Aquarius, although flexible, can also sometimes be a little intolerant as well. When Mercury is in the mutable signs, in Gemini, well, it rules Gemini, so it's going to be talk, talk, talk. When Mercury is in Virgo, they may talk a little too much, but often it leans more towards complaining or being a little bit critical. And when Mercury is in Sagittarius, they will talk about, well, all kinds of things, philosophies in general, and they like to be sometimes a little bit more the center of attention with Mercury and Sag as well. And when Mercury is in Pisces, they like to talk about their health and every other little minutia that you can think about, sometimes a little too talkative. They're very detail-oriented. In general, Mercury in the cardinal signs can be very good for building and creating teams. They're not always self-oriented. They can be good working with other people, but they may like to be in charge. When it's in the fixed signs, Mercury, more attached to material things and even sometimes the earth or other structures. They may like to talk about, more the structures of life and such as well. And again, when Mercury is immutable, they love to network. So Mercury in the mutable signs is great at networking. They probably love social media and any kind of media, and they do like to be communicative. Now, with Mercury through the elements, it's a little bit different. With Mercury in the fire signs, well, you can bet they can be quite a spirited talker. They may be very good at spinning a yarn. They may be a lot of fun as well, and they certainly might enjoy humor and like to crack jokes themselves. Let's put it this way. If you're looking to play games or have fun or play sports, you're going to be challenged by Mercury in the fire signs, and yes, they are competitive. With Mercury in the earth signs, much more of a down-to-earth thinker and communicator in general. Mercury in the earth signs, generally they're very good at writing. You find a lot of writers and journalists with Mercury in the earth signs, but that's because they can sit down and be still and take the time it takes to communicate and to put down their thoughts. They're not in a rush like other signs. With Mercury in the air signs, well, you can bet that they are the expert communicators of the zodiac. You're very often going to find Mercury in air signs working in media, education, communications of some kind or another, or arts, again, depending on which sign it is and house placement. With Mercury in the water signs, while they're much more inclined to talk about their feelings, they may be a little sensitive. You almost get a moony influence with Mercury in the water signs, say, because they are much more in touch with their feelings and their sensitivity. Mercury in the water signs may also express a lot of compassion and empathy, in any of the water signs as well, but they are emotional, and not that they may be quick to lose their temper, but let me put it this way. When Mercury in a fire sign loses their temper, they blow up, they say what they say, and it's done with. Mercury in the water sign, oh no, they're going to carry a grudge, they're going to hang on to that, and you may find it's going to be brought up from time to time, like when Mercury is in the earth signs. They may have a chip on their shoulder or hold a grudge as well, especially when afflicted. And with Mercury in the earth signs, oh, they remember the past quite succinctly, believe you me. With Mercury in the air signs, perhaps that's where Mercury does the best because it lends itself to the air energy, which is all about communication and media, as I said, teaching, writing, and perhaps even performing arts. Certainly, they are good communicators. And of course, Mercury in fire and air signs may be much more interested in traveling far and wide than Mercury in the earth and the water signs. In general, you'll find that Mercury in earth and water, they get along well. Mercury, in fire and air, they also get along well together. You may have some clashing when, well, just think about it. Mercury in fire with a person with Mercury in water. Well, when you mix water and fire, you get a lot of steam or you get things boiling over. So there may be some clashes. And similarity with Mercury in air compared to Mercury in earth, say, well, you put a lot of air in the earth and it gets pretty sandy, gets pretty loose, and there's not too much of a meeting of minds sometimes with you have two people, one with Mercury in air, one with Mercury in earth. But in general, the fire and the water sign, the fire and the air signs get along pretty well together, and the earth and the water signs may do better together as well. So hopefully you learned a little bit about what Mercury's like in the modes, and next up is Mercury through the individual signs.